So I wanted to talk a little bit about Joe Dispenza and what I learned from him in my healing journey, in my manifestation journey. So pretty much when I was in my car accident, I broke my T2 and C6 vertebrae, which is neck and spine. And I already had Joe Dispenza's books when this happened. I was actually already reading one of them, but I started reading a different one, where he talked about his accident and pretty much how he healed himself. Now, if you don't know Joe Dispenza, he was a triathlon. He was in like a bicycle race, and he was hit by SUV. This was in like 1986, and he had some pretty serious injuries. And the doctors pretty much told him he is going to need surgery, and even then, he may never be able to walk again. So Joe pretty much said no, and he went to a friend's house. And he stayed there for like 3 months, and he pretty much spent hours a day meditating and visualizing and manifesting healing himself. And he did, without surgery, against, everything the doctor said, saying he'd never be able to walk again. He did. He healed himself. And that is where I got my inspiration to heal myself. So like I said, in 1986, during a triathlon in Palm Springs, California, Dispenza was hit by an SUV while biking. The accident shattered 6 vertebrae in his spine. Multiple doctors recommended a high-risk surgery to insert rods into his spine, warning that without it, he might never walk again. Dispenza chose not to have the surgery. Instead, he committed to a mental healing regimen. He spent hours each day in meditation, focusing on visualizing his spine healing vertebrae by vertebrae, and aligning his thoughts and his emotions with the belief that he would fully recover. After approximately 10 weeks of his daily mental work, he began to heal. Within 12 weeks, he was walking again, and within months, he was back to full health with no surgery and no rods. This experience was the catalyst for his life's work. He became intensely curious about the mind-body connection, the power of thought, and how consciousness can affect biology, leading him to study neuroscience, quantum physics, and epigenetics. His core belief born from that experience is the power that made the body heals the mind. So now Dr. Joe Dispenza is widely known for his work on neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics as they relate to a personal transformation and healing. One of his central teachings is that you can rewire your brain by changing your thoughts and emotions. Essentially, you can create a new reality by mentally rehearsing it. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. And this is something he says all the time. And that phrase means that when you repeatedly think the same thoughts or feel the same emotions, that brain creates stronger neural connections around those patterns. So by consciously focusing on new empowering thoughts, you begin to rewire your brain for a different experience. It's kind of what I've been saying though, with affirming. When you are consistently focused or robotic affirming, you're creating these new beliefs. So, science right there, bro. I'm telling you, science from somebody who has been doing this since 1986. Affirming rewires the brain. It creates these new beliefs. So, now Dispenza also believes that meditation helps you disconnect from your environment, body, and time, so you can enter a state where real change happens. In this space, you can plant new mental blueprints in the subconscious. He teaches that your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors make up your personality, and changing them leads to a new reality. And I've said this before, the brain doesn't know the difference between a real and imagined event. So this means when you vividly imagine a future with emotion and belief, your brain begins to form new neural patterns as if it's already happening, helping you rehearse your future self into being. So whenever you're even daydreaming consistently the same thought over and over and over, like consistently replaying something in your mind, it's going to create that event. It's going to think it's already happened, and it's going to show up in your reality. In the end, he also says consistency is key. Rewiring the brain isn't exactly instant. It requires repetition, consistency. He also says emotional involvement to form lasting neural changes. I don't always depend on the emotional part. Like, sometimes I can feel it and sometimes I can't. I don't really focus on the emotional part. I just try to stay consistent, and I do the repetition. I affirm, and that's the repetition. That is good enough. You don't need to visualize. You don't need to feel it real. You can simply just affirm and create that new neural pathway in your brain. So it's that simple. So this is literally coming, all of that was from Joe Dispenza, or about Joe Dispenza, and like what he teaches, how he healed himself. It's literally, he's done a lot of studies. Like I said, you can look him up on YouTube. He has retreats, and they're really cool because, I mean, people have healed themselves from cancer, blindness, like pretty much anything and everything you can think of. People at his retreats, or who have followed him and actually put in the work, have healed themselves. It is possible, because this is literally science. He goes into the scientificness, I know that's not a word, of it. Like, so for those who don't believe in manifestation, that's fine, but he literally has his research. He comes with receipts. And he is very intelligent, and he's been doing this for a long time. And it is possible. Our brain, our subconscious mind is very intelligent. So, I mean, there's really no reason not to believe that manifestation isn't real. I mean, he literally healed himself. I did it. I also did it. And that, like, I knew manifestation was real, but doing that, like, I never really had any more doubts after that. Because if I could do that, then shit, I could do anything, right? So, I mean, really, he pretty much says, like, repetition and consistency changes the neural pathways, creating a new neural pathway. But empowering thoughts, not the negative thoughts that you don't want. You have to be repetitive with the thoughts you do want, creating the new story.